Hey everybody. Hey. I know most of y'all are probably already done went in for the night, but I told you guys I would come back on and do a wreath with you guys. And I am Katrina, the owner of Kathim Creations Wreaths and Things, and I came on with you guys earlier and showed you an unboxing of items that I got from the wreath shop. And in that was this blue um, poly burlap mesh that I got. Now, I had showed you guys a center I had made, and I asked you guys to let me know if you wanted to see me make something with this. So, of course, Miss Pamela, she got back in touch with me, and she said she wanted to see me make the blue and white flower that goes with the center. So that's what we're going to do today. I know it's late. I'm going to pull you guys up on Facebook so if anybody's watching, I can see your comments. Um, so if you are still up and you're watching, please say hello. Let me know you're watching. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know if you do crafts or you just like to watch people do crafts. My voice is late now, so my voice is a little scratchy. Like I had told y'all earlier today that I was fighting laryngitis for a while, so my voice is coming and going. So I'm fighting that. But these are all the materials that we're using. You have to use for this wreath frame. I'm using the small now. In the video, some of the videos that you see on YouTube, they use some of the designers use the 10-inch wire frame, and then they put it on the mesh and they cut the mesh out and they attach the small piece right here to the mesh. I mean to the wire frame. And that's how you do this if you use a wireframe. When you use a wireframe, you're going to use more material. Not a lot more, but you're going to use more material. So I wanted to make sure, try to cut the cost for my customers. So I noticed that when I use the Unique and the Creek board, that it's a little less material. So my price can be a little lower because I'm trying to make sure I have wreaths from $30 and up. So when you use less material, then that brings down the cost of your wreath. So I'm going to use Unique and the Creek for this flower. As you can see, I've already done most of it, so because I know we was going to be on, it's going to be late. So you can use this, and if you use the 10-inch, you're going to do 15 petals on row number 3, this row right here, 15 solid blue petals on row 3. You're going to go in between those blue on row 3. This is row 2. This is row 3. So on row 2, you're going to do 15 petals, and that will be a petal here at the cross back bracket, 2 in the middle, and then another one here. And if you do that all the way around, it'll come out to be 15. When you do that, you go to rail number 3 to do your next row, and that will be the blue and white. And you will see how you cut the blue and white. I'll show you that. And that's another 15, but you cut them in half. Okay, I'll show you that too. And you do 15 of those petals, the white and blue petal, on the number 3 bracket. Okay, in between the first 15 you did on the number 2, but you're going down to the number 3. Then when you have the mesh, you're going to go in maybe in half an inch to an inch in, and you're going to do another row of 8 blue and white petals. Once you put all of those on, then you can put your center on, and that's how that's going to look when you use the wireframe. Now, this is too big for this center here, so I had to find a smaller center. So we're going to put this away. And how I did that, I have one of these canvas, and this is like a 3-inch, like a 4-inch round canvas, 3.5, 4-inch round canvas. And what I did was I cut a piece of mesh, I put it on a piece of mesh, just the right size, cut around that mesh, and then I glued it to this mesh. So I glued the felt to this mesh after I cut it out, right? And this is what it looks like. This is the mesh, and the felt is glued on top. Then after I did that, I stuck a 22 gauge wire. First I measured where the holes are here. See where these holes are here? I measured where they are. I did a little round circle and I measured. So when I stick this in, I know it's going to fit where these holes are. Right? So I know one end is going to go here, one end is going to go there, and it's going to fit like that. So I measured that. I did a little black mark. And once the felt, I put the felt on, then I stuck one end of the gauge wire this way and one end directly across from it on this way, coming on the outside of that line. Then I took a piece of felt and I glued that down. Then once I did that, I started making my center. You guys know how I do that. I did it in other videos. I took the very end of the rope, this blue and white rope, put some glue there, and I held it down for like 30 seconds. And then I put a little glue going around and around and around and around. And we're going to finish that up right now so you guys can see that. So this is the center. And I know it's late, so I'm going to try to go pretty quickly. You can always watch the replay. Hey, Stephanie, thanks for watching. I know it's late. So we're just going to, see, we already have it started. So we're just going to add a little glue around the outside of that last row. Go all the way around, or as far as you want to go, as far as you feel comfortable going. I'm going to go all the way around because I'm trying to finish this up for you guys. And we're just going to lay it down. And how you lay it down, you hold it real tight. You push it to that inner, that next rope. That rope that's already there, you push it down and into it. And you go around and around. And you get it down. And you just hold it down. You make sure you're holding it tight, pushing it into each other. So there's no gaps. You take the glue, go around the next row. And you just do this all the way around. That's all you do. And you do the same thing if you was using if you were making it with the white foam, which you guys have seen me do that before. If you guys need me to do that again for you, just let me know. And I can put that video on again so you can see how I make my centers. Gotta watch these glue strands. You do the same thing when you do the foam. You make a little hole here in the center, put a little glue in, stick that end of the rope in there, let it hold for like 30 seconds, and then you start gluing around it and laying your rope, and you go all the way around. Now, when you use this, you want to cut. You see how it's got a pointy edge? See this pointy edge? You want to take your knife. You see how I'm cutting off that pointy edge? And you want to go all the way around. And you see how that pointy edge is smooth now? And you want to go all the way around cutting that edge off. And then you want to take like a sanding paper and smooth it down. You just want to get rid of this edge so your rope can lay flat. Like it's no, you see how that is? There's no sharp edge. It just lays flat going all the way around. See how it is? It's no sharp edge. It just goes around. So you want to make sure you cut off this sharp edge with a knife. Smooth it over with some sandpaper, a little sand block you get from the dollar store. And then you make that little hole and you start gluing your rope in. Okay? But like I said, since I needed a smaller one, I just went with this canvas. Now, of course, if all you had was this, then you can cut it down. Cut that edge, sand it down, and make it to the size that you need it to be. You can use that. You can still use your foam, so don't think you have to go and buy canvas. If all you have is the foam, then that's what you use. Just cut it down to the size that you need it. So, like I said, Miss Pamela, she answered earlier, and she said she wanted to see this flower wreath. I guess I don't see her on tonight. I know it's late, so I guess she'll catch the replay in the morning. But I wanted to come on and do this wreath with you guys. I did most of it, and I did most of the cuts. So I didn't think I would be on too long with you guys. So when you get right here to the edge, let me clear this up so I can see. Make sure you guys can see. When you get right here to the edge, then you're going to put a little glue on the rope itself, right? Because you don't have too much for it to hold on at the bottom. So you put it on the rope itself just a little bit, okay, because you don't want to see the glue on the top. So you just come around and you just put it on the bottom edge of your rope. And we're getting to the end. Put it on the bottom edge of your rope, just where it's touching. Now we're almost at the end. Now look at that center. Beautiful, beautiful center. We're trying to push it into each other. Make sure it holds really good. Give the glue a couple of seconds to hold. And I wanted to do this center first because I wanted to set up before I move on. So we're going to do this last little end, and then we're going to tuck it under. So we're going to put a little bit here around that lower part, stick this down, and then we're going to take this in and we're going to tuck it under. That's how we're going to do that. We're going to tuck that under. I'm going to tuck that under. There you go. And when we tuck that under, we're just going to take a pin. We're going to glue it. And I had some pins here. Like a T-pin. Can take that and you stick it down on an angle. Right? Stick it down in there on an angle. And that will hold that down. Plus with some glue. So you put some glue around it. Hold it down. Make sure it's glued really good. So that's why I said we had to do the center first and let this set up. So while this is drying and setting up, and you don't see no pin on the front. There you go. Very good. Now we're going to get to doing the rest of these little leaves. The petals rather. So this is how you do the petals. You cut your blue pearly poly burlap mesh 10 inches, 10 by 10, right? So you're going to let it the curl side up. And we're doing this row right here. If you want to put leaves, then this is the small unique in a creek board. So if you wanted to put leaves, you would put leaves on this outside row. I tried leaves. I actually have some cut here that I put on. I didn't like how it looked, so I took it off. So I'm not going to do leaves. So I'm not going to use this outside row here. Okay, I'm not using that. I'm going to row number 2 because this is row number 1. This is row number 2. When you buy these unique in the creek boards, there's numbers to the rows. So this is row number 1. We're not going to put any petals on row number 1 because that's where we'll put my leaves. I've decided not to do that. We're going to go to row number 2. And how you load your unique in the creek board is you take your zip tie, you go down one hole, and you come up the other. Okay? You close your zip tie just a little. And this is how you get your unique in the creek board ready, okay, for your petals. Now you do this all the way around row number 2, and that's 8 petals. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 petals on row number 2. You do this, and this is all blue, all navy blue petals. Then when you go to row number 3, this is 8 petals as well, but this is going to be the navy blue and white. And then row number 4 is also going to be 8 petals, and it's going to be navy blue and white as well. And it's going to be 8 petals because it's 4 double holes, and then you're going to combine these side holes. Okay, these side holes, you're going to combine them, so make 8 petals. Okay, all right. So this is how you make the blue petal, and this is going to be on row number 2. This is where the blue petals are going. Solid blue petals is going to go on row number 2. You have your curl side up. You got your finished edge on the top and the bottom. You take your left top corner, and your bottom right corner, and you bring them to the middle. See that? Bring them to the middle. Then you do like a ruffle right across that middle. You turn this over, and then you bring this left petal over the right petal. You try to make sure they kind of the right side, the same size. Most of the time my left petal is bigger than my right petal, and I gotta adjust it. Now when you cut your burlap, try to use a wood burner. Being that I didn't use a wood burner, it's fraying a lot. I had to use my scissors because my wood burner broke, and I didn't get it replaced yet. It's not coming in. My replacement is not coming in until Tuesday. So I had to cut it with scissors, which meant I'm going to get a lot of frame. And when you use your wood burner to cut it, you make sure you cut in between the lines, and you make sure that you wear a mask and to be in a well ventilated room, because remember, you're burning plastic, your fumes is coming off. You will get a headache, will not make you feel so well, so you make sure you wear a mask. So remember, if you come in and you watching me, you're getting a little notification, just say hi, let me know you watching. All right, we're going to do the next blue one. Like I said, I did most of them already, so you guys didn't have to see me make them all, but you have the finish edge at the top, finish edge at the bottom. You take the left top corner and the bottom right corner, and you bring it to the middle. Make like a little package, right? And then you ruffle right up that middle. You flip it over and you bring that left petal on top of your right petal. Like I said, being that I didn't use my wood burner, it's fraying on me. And you just got to make sure it's even. Try to make sure the leaves is all about the same height. You put that into your zip tie, you tighten it up, and you snip off the excess with your wire cutter. Okay? And we can put the knife up. I'm not using that. So you have your blue row up. And this is on your row number 2. Okay, this is all blue on row number 2. Okay, so now we're going to go to row number 3. This is how you do row number 3. Let me cut one for you so I can show you how to do the double color petal. Okay, you can get all of this off the table now. Okay, so we want to have the blue on top of the white, well, the white on top of the blue. You'll see what I'm aiming at once I flip it over. Okay, so we're gonna flip this over, and we're gonna try to even them up on top of each other, right? Because 10 by 10, they should be able to lay on top of each other with not too much issue. It's not gonna be perfect. Just get it as close as you can. No big deal if it's not perfect. Then you have the finished edge at the top, finished edge at the bottom, and then you're going to turn it. Okay, which side do I want? Finished edge is here. So I want the finished edge to my left, finished edge to my right. And it's going to be a diamond shape. Okay, I'm just going to try to even this out a little bit more. So being that I want to cut it in a diamond shape, you don't have to use a ruler. Once I put it on, use my mat. This is why this mat is so good, right? That's the line straight down, and you want to even out your ends. I want my line to be kind of straight, so I take my ruler, metal ruler, and I put it right on that line. And then I take my rotary cutter and I put it right up against that ruler, and I cut straight down. Make sure, be careful, your hands is out the way, because you know your rotary cutter is sharp. Okay, so that's 1, 2. Okay, so when you cut that, then you have to make sure you cut your blue so you can see your white. So that means you have to cut down your blue. So we're going to take the blue and we're going to cut 1 inch off the blue. So we have it in a diamond shape that we just cut off 1 end. We're using our mat again. We're going over 1 inch, and we're just going to take our rotary cutter. We're going to cut off that inch. When you cut off that inch, then that's going to give you where you can see your two-tone on your flower. And then we're just going to ruffle up the ends. Then you just puff up your petal. You see how that came out? See how it's got a curve to it? And you can see the blue? You're going to take this in and you're going to stick it in to row number 3. And you want to go all the way around row number 3, putting in this petal. Okay? You tighten up that zip tie, cut the excess off. Then, if you have one of these bad boys, I love this thing. It's a heavy duty sort of scissors, but it's actually the blade is actually a razor blade that you slide in, and it cuts through when you have a lot of stuff to cut through. That would really give a regular scissor a hard time. If you have one of these babies, it's really, really good. It's a heavy duty one. So this is really, really good. They're on Amazon and all the major reef stores. They have it. And you just pick that edge. See how I cut all of that off? You just want your board to be clean. And if you have less stuff underneath the next petal, then it lays better. So you want to fluff up that petal. And like I said, being that I didn't use a wood burner, this is, you know, shedding quite a bit because I don't have my wood burner. So if you have a wood burner, make sure you use that. Alright, so we're going to do another one. I had already cut some, so this was already cut. And then we're going to try to even it up. It don't have to be perfect. You're going to walk it up. Going to fold it under. And you're going to put it right in on row number 3. Pull that in, down, fix your petal. Make sure it's even up with the other ones. Cut off any fraying. Take your wire snippers, cut off that. And take your heavy duty scissors and cut off all this excess so your work area, you can see what's going on in there. You can take your petal, you can go underneath your petal and fluff it up a little bit. It's going to flatten, which is fine because this is perfect for like a what they call a pancake wreath, because this can fit between your storm doors. So this is perfect size wreath for that. So now we're going to go in and do this middle area. Now remember, this middle area only have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what you're going to do is when you put in this one, I'm going to show you, when you put in one set, right, you got one set in, you close that in, you're going to go to the same hole, you're going to use the same hole to get over to the next side. So you're doubling up. So that's why it will be 8 petals in the middle instead of 4. You double up. You go to the next one. And then you do the same. You go down this hole, you come back up, and you double up. And that way you have your 8 petals in the center. So we have some that's already cut. But I will have to show you. I already have the triangle cut over there. When you have it already cut, this is the triangle. You try to even it out because this is the blue that's been cut. An inch has been taken off. Just ruffle that in. You curve it, and then you stick it right in to your next available Schnell stem on row 4. Remember, we're down to row 4 now. We're finished row 3. And it gets a little tricky when you get it in here because you know it's a smaller area. You got to get all of that into your petal in through your zip tie. It's a tighter area. Try to make sure your petal is the same height as the rest of the petals. So don't tighten it all the way until you're sure. Once you're sure, you tighten it up. Cut off that zip tie. You take your heavy duty scissors and you want to cut off that end, but make sure you don't cut your chenille stem. So move your chenille stem out the way and be careful because this scissors is sharp. Okay? So you gotta be careful. Okay, and then you can just kind of like dust it off. But I'm loving that blue and that cream, that white. What do you guys think? We got 3 more to do. So this is one of the halves, and this is just it fraying because I didn't use my wood burner. I mean, it frays with the wood burner too, but not as much. But being that I didn't use my wood burner, every little thing makes it fray. So you're gonna have to deal with a lot of that. So I said, please use your wood burner because it will cut down on the fraying. And all you have to do is just go in and cut it off. It's no, it's not a huge deal, you know, but you don't want to have a wreath that's just fraying all over the place. All right. So this is the one we cut in half. We did the triangle, but we got to cut down the blue. Remember, we got to take off an inch. So we put it on our cutting mat, edge to edge cutting mat. We know we got to cut off that inch. Take our rotary cutter and we cut off that inch. Right? We lay it back on the white petal. Lay it back down. Get it as even as possible, and then just ruffle up the ends. Tuck it under, give it that little C shape. Go to the next available chenille stem on row 4. Like I said, it gets tricky in here because it's tight and you gotta kind of put it in on an angle, push it all the way through, see if you can get a grip of it on the other end, and that way you can pull the petal down. Cut that zip tie, fray, form the petal, and then we got to cut off this excess because we got another 2 to put in here, so we got to make sure we have room. So we get the heavy duty scissor thing, but make sure you watch your hands, like I said, because this thing is very, very sharp. There you go. So we gotta cut another one. So we get this blue, we get the right. Remember, they're cut 10 by 10, right? I like to place my blue on top of my white. So there you go. And you just try to even it out as much as possible. It don't have to be perfect. Remember, it don't have to be perfect. It's okay. But just try to get it as even as possible. Because you know what we're going to do. We're going to cut in that triangle. So we want it as even as possible. So we got 1 point there. And I'm gonna take my ruler. You don't have to use a ruler. You can just use the rotary cutter and go on and cut it. But I'm gonna use my ruler because I don't cut straight at all. So I got my ruler, and my ruler is my guide. And I cut that on the wrong angle, so we're gonna try it again. I didn't make sure my finished edges was on the top and the bottom. So just make sure they're at the top and the bottom when you cut it, because then it's not going to match up with the rest of your petals, and you don't want it to look mismatched. Trying to see. We want it this way because we want our finished ends to the left top and to the right bottom. And I'm just trying to measure this up. Okay, we're going to get our ruler. And this is like the tedious part of this wreath, is doing the cuts, to me anyway. Putting it on is a piece of cake, but doing the cuts, because you just want to make sure the cuts are, you know, they don't have to be perfect, but they, you know, look good. So this is the most tedious part to me. This is what takes up the time. Hey everyone, if you're watching, make sure you say hello. Let me know you watching. If you're watching me on Facebook, make sure you like and you follow. If you watch me on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and hit the and type replay. Let me know you're watching a replay. Definitely on all of my social medias. Please share. Please share my channel. That's how my business grows. You guys help me out. So you know when you cut in a triangle, then you got to cut that inch off so you can see that white under that blue, right? So we needed 2 petals, and these are 2 petals. And our petals will be done, and we can put the center on, and the evening is finished. Now, if you guys want to see me do this flower again for you guys later on, when if you want to see me do it from beginning to end, slower than what I'm doing tonight, then you guys let me know. Let me know that's something you want to see me do. I'm just doing it kind of fast paced because it's already late. Most of you guys have already turned in for the night, but for the ones that is still hanging out, I didn't want to keep you too long. Okay, we got to make sure we get most of that, all of that in through. Got that petal. Making sure we got it down, got it in. And we want to cinch it down. Pull it tight. And then you got some fraying. You just cut off these frays. It's okay. It's going to fray. Definitely I know it's going to fray because, like I said, I didn't cut it with a wood burner because my wood burner broke and my new one won't be here till Tuesday. And I wanted to make this flower with you guys today. So we got to put in one more. Oh, we got to cut off this. Use the heavy duty scissor and cut that off. Like I said, be careful with the scissors because it is really sharp. Alright, I really love this blue and white flower. It's gorgeous. It's like a nautical type of theme, you know, and if it's, you know, and then it can be just every day. If you're into blue, this is like the perfect color. So you even it out as much as you can, and then you just won't ruffle up those ends. Do that little C shape. Stick it in on that row number 4. That center row that we doubled up. It was supposed to be 8 pieces, and 4 pieces, but we made it 8. So we went through every hole. So it's kind of tight in here now, so it's kind of giving you a hard time trying to get in. Once you get it in there, you cinch it up. Take your wire cutter. Then you take your heavy duty cutter and cut off all of that excess. And that is your center of your wreath. And what I do is I just push the top of my zip ties, I push it to the side so it's not impeding my center. Alright, so we got some fraying, which you're going to have. So just know until you actually leave it alone, it's going to continue to fray. And since I'm still bothering with it, it's going to continue to fray. But once I leave it alone, it'll stop fraying as much. So just know that. Also, you can hit it with a little Mod Podge spray. You can take Mod Podge, this right here, get a little paintbrush and go along these edges, hit it, and it'll kind of like stiffen these ends so it won't allow too much fraying. You can do that if you like. I'm not doing that right now. I may go back and do it later. And as you can see, it's already beautiful. Look at that. It's a beautiful flower wreath. And you just place your leaves where you want them. You know, I like my left petal over my right petal. So I make sure all my left petals are over my right petal. This one has got to go over. You still got some straggling pieces. Got some more fraying. Alright, so let's put the center on. My left petal is over my right petal. Yep, yep, yep. Alright. I think that looks gorgeous. Love it, love it, love it, and more love it. Okay, now, because I'll be messing with it. Now, this is our center. Now, since our center is so full, I'm going to have to work this wire. Okay, waiting for some reason. I'm going to have to work this wire through. So, I'm going to have to play with it. I'll have to lift it up so I can see it. Remember, it's a 22 gauge wire. I don't know if you guys can really see that. But it's a wire right here. That's what I used. So this is what I'm going to stick through all this mesh. Try to get it to go through one of these holes somehow. And I just find where the end of the zip tie is. And I found it and I pulled it through. So you pull it through the back. And I'm pulling it tight. And I'm holding it, and then I just take it and just spin it on itself. And it tightens up on it. And look at that. Gorgeous! I love it. I love it. Look at that right there. Now, like I told you guys, I made leaves. I put it up there. I did not like it. So I took the leaves off. Now, you can try to put leaves on yours if that's what you want to do. But this is my flower. This is it. Now, this is very thin. So this is perfect for, look how thin that is. See how thin that is? Perfect pancake flower wreath. Look at this. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Perfect pancake flower wreath. Going between your storm doors. This would be perfect in a bathroom. I mean, just hanging up on the wall in the kitchen. This could be nice in the guest room. Going down your staircase in your hallway. So don't just think your wreath has to be on your outdoor, your door to the outside. It can be anywhere. And this is an indoor and outdoor wreath. So, that being said, I hope you guys like it. I was trying to make this really short because I know it's late. You came on, please, if you're on Facebook, like, follow me, share my content, please, with your family and your friends. Help my channel to grow. If you're watching on YouTube, hit replay. Let me know you're watching a replay. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know what those questions are. Ask me. I've had several people ask me questions on my wreaths, and I get back to them as soon as I realize there's a question. I try to answer and get right back to them. So I'm also on Pinterest, TikTok, and Instagram. So make sure you follow me at all my social media channels. Please help me help my business to grow on social media, because everybody knows that's how your business grows these days, is on social media. It's not word of mouth anymore, it's social media. So with you guys help, my business will grow, and I can buy more material and do more wreaths for you and teach you how to get this going. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this. This was fun for me. I had to rush through it because I know it's late. But you guys, let me know in the comments if you want to see me do this again, but slower, and I'll do that for you. And what I'll do is hopefully sometime this week I can get on and I can do another wreath with you guys. I have some stuff sitting around that I need to put together. So I'll put that video on for you guys. But until we meet again, take a look. You guys let me know in the comments what you think. Thumbs up, good job, great, looks good, you like the colors. If you want to see me do this in another color, let me know. Make sure you put in the comments. So until we meet again, everyone, I know it's late. Good night and be safe. Bye.